And when you knock us down, we're going to get up. And on the way up, we're going to bite a kneecap off.
Go ahead and say it, Ed. Go Dragons!
When I woke up this morning, I was feeling pretty dangerous.
You like that? You like that?
F it. Jamar's down there somewhere.
The New Orleans Saints select Marcus Davenport.
No!
Splash Brothers. Yeah.
It's playoff. Keep going, Brace.
The playoffs? Don't talk about playoffs. If it doesn't fit, you must acquit.
Not so much of an entertaining game on the field, but definitely entertaining as far as the city of Baton Rouge goes. Peyton, what's your thoughts on the game?
Yeah, obviously wasn't much to the game. First time Southern's ever played LSU, which is kind of crazy since they're 10 miles apart campus-wise. This was a big deal for Southern and for LSU, man. Both universities, I think, wanted this. Both universities kind of cheer for each other, help each other out. I know back in the 04 National Championship, during the National Championship parade, Southern won their, I guess, conference that year. So they actually joined them in the parade and had a parade together. So it was, they said that biggest crowd probably ever to be on LSU's campus for a game.
And Southern travels well anyways, notoriously. So that was
they do.
That was a home game for them.
Right. And they projected, I think they were saying there's over 200-something thousand people that they thought was on campus.
That's awesome.
For this weekend.
That's
so
awesome.
that's awesome. It really is, man. And now I can only imagine how bad it sucked getting out of there because traffic is terrible. They've added on to Death Valley a good bit over the last probably 10, 15 years, and they've not expanded roads or added 4 lanes going in and out of that place. So it's pretty miserable.
I work with a doctor who has season tickets or has had season tickets in years past, and he said, man, I hate sitting in traffic. So basically after the game's over, the second tailgate starts for me, and I just tailgate until everybody's cleared out, and then we leave. So that ain't a bad way to approach.
Hey, and that's what I know. I go to quite a many games a year, and the guy that I go with, they have season tickets and a parking pass. And let me tell you, that parking pass is nice. Yeah, you get to park right by the stadium. It's probably the worst when you're leaving out because you're right in the middle of all the crowd, man.
And the best thing to do, man,
I've gotten to where I park.
The best thing to do is just bring a cooler with some drinks and, hey, save you a plate of those leftovers. Nothing with mayo, obviously. You don't want to get a stomach ache. But, get you some leftovers, chill out, turn on a West Coast game, have a good time out in the parking lot. And I know it's tough because you're tired. You've been there all day and you're ready to get back. Probably done a lot of walking. But, hey, how many times do we get to do this year,
Oh, no doubt. That's why I park far out when I go, because time you walk back to your truck, a lot of the traffic's already out of there. That's so right. And you're good. And LSU fans have been notorious about leaving out early, even on close games, just because the traffic's that bad and they're wanting to get out of it and get back to wherever they're going, hotel or house, to finish watching the game on TV.
That's right.
But not Saturday night, not when you have the human jukebox, as the band for Southern's called, performing. Everybody was looking forward to seeing that. It was an awesome performance. They put them and the Golden Band from Tigerland together, which was pretty cool. Southern also did their little performance, and score was 51-0 at half, and they spelled out, wrote out 51-0 on the field.
Yeah, that's awesome.
So they weren't ashamed. They were just happy to be there.
It was a good moment for the city and for the culture down there in Baton Rouge. Like we said, not much of a pretty game. LSU, I'm going to just hit you with some numbers. LSU total yards 550, Southern 262. LSU had 321 passing yards, Southern had 61. Rushing was a little better for Southern. LSU 230, Southern 201. LSU had 2 penalties for 8 yards, which was nice. Southern had 6 for 40. They didn't put up many penalties either. LSU created 5 turnovers, 4 fumbles, and 1 INT. Southern created 2 INTs by way of Mr. Nussmeier there. Jaden Daniels had a great game, 10 for 11, 137, 3 touchdowns, no interceptions. And he also added 18 rushing yards and a rushing touchdown. Nussmeier, on the other hand, 13 for 23, 183, no touchdowns and 2 picks. Doesn't bode well to what we kind of thought might play out throughout the rest of the year, and that eventually Nussmeier might be the guy to take the reins. Doesn't appear that way. Peyton, I definitely saw a couple plays that were alarming. One where he was rolling to his left and kind of tried to sling it to his right a little bit. Something that, maybe Patrick Mahomes or Josh Allen, Justin Herbert could have made that throw, but he wasn't close.
Hey, no, and you're right. And look, I'll always be the first to admit when I'm wrong. And I thought Nuss by midseason would have the job.
A lot of people did.
I really thought he would. Yeah, and man, he just doesn't seem like he's grown up yet. Granted, too, he just hasn't had a lot of experience to get some of that out of him. When you're looking at Daniels, he's been basically a 3-year starter now in college. Playing a lot, been a lot of big games. Doesn't right now he hasn't made any, really silly, stupid plays. Now come SEC competition time, defense is gonna get a little harder.
Yeah.
Not gonna be able to just keep running between the tackles. You have to start if you're gonna run, you have to get on the outside, either get out of bounds or get down. But he's Daniels, like we talked the other night on our main pod. He's gonna be the bridge for us, and he'll be the starter obviously the rest of the year, it looks like, and possibly next year unless Walker Howard just shows out this offseason. I think Daniels will be the guy next year, and then year 3 and under Brian Kelly, when he gets that roster built like he wants it, and Walker Howard has been sitting there for 2 years waiting, I think it'll be
a
whole nother quarterback back there, it's on. I think it's on, man. I think this for chances of us going playing for titles and stuff like that. I think that's when this happens. And not saying that we're not going to win much with Daniels. We're going to win. Just don't think we're going to win anything significant. But hey, like I've been saying, give me 7-8 wins this year, and I'll probably take that next year.
That's right.
Maybe slide into the 9-3 roll would be awesome. But yeah, Daniels has definitely secured the job, and it's safe. I am ready to see. We get Mississippi State this weekend. I'm ready to see some a little stiffer competition, up in class a little, and see what's going to happen there.
A little
happy to see how. Yeah, absolutely. I hate that, man. I wanted to stay and watch Mississippi State play Arizona Saturday night, but my God, it started so late and it was still going. I got 2 or 2:30 Saturday night.
You're burning the candles at both ends, brother. You told me you got up at 4 a.m. for a golf tournament. So
I did.
Yeah,
so
no
I was
rest.
out. No. But I think it's going to be a good competition next week to kind of see where we've been. See what it'll like after 2 weeks, of the Florida State game, what adjustments we've made and stuff. But I was glad Saturday night to see Booty get involved early, and not just throwing the ball, let him run jet sweep, like little things like that. I'm happy to see. I mean, it just shows you what kind of a better coaching staff we have. It only took 1 week to make little simple adjustments like that, which the 2 we've had in the past, it took forever to make adjustments, and sometimes they never came. So we only had one, in 1 week you saw a lot of good things that were made adjustments on. Looks like Jack Besh is getting a little more involved, which, he was nicked up most of training camp, so they wanted to kind of slowly bring him in, is what BK said after the Florida State game. and he said he's about 100% now. And he said over the next 3 to 4 weeks, he's about to be a big, significant part of the offense, which he scored a touchdown already Saturday night.
Yeah.
So I'm excited about that. And Neighbors and Brian Thomas, just a couple to more pieces toys that BK and Daniels will have to play with.
He's going to have plenty.
Mason Taylor,
as far as talent.
Yeah. Yeah. Mason Taylor still caught a few balls. I mean, he's still that kid's, I think, is going to be pretty special time he leaves that campus.
I like it too, man, especially with the pedigree there. For sure.
No doubt. And I love the offensive line change. You notice offensive line change?
No.
The adjustments they made?
Tell us about that.
They put Charles Turner at center, which did not start last week. He was actually the one all summer that people thought the job was his. And Dellinger, they just trusted him a little more than Turner at the time. And so they gave Turner the start nod at center. They moved Dellinger over to left guard, which he's more comfortable. That's what he is. He's more of a guard. And moved Frazier to right tackle and bench Cam Wire.
Wow.
Charles Turner, man, is a athlete, very intelligent kid. If he gets the snaps down, which he didn't have any bad snaps Saturday night, which the level of competition will, like we just said, be a little better next week. So we'll see if he'll hold that up, because BK said he is going to keep that starting five again for this weekend.
Sure.
But man, it looked a lot better. Dellinger looked more comfortable. Frazier looked a little more comfortable because, I mean, that's where he was at tackling anyway last year in college. So I'm ready to see what that line does. Bradford, man, that dude is – I was actually listening to Jay Crane. Jay Crane was talking about some of the offensive line on his show the other day. It looks like they made some adjustments, for him. That could be good. Man, I don't know if you saw Amari Goodwin broke off a big run, and you looked up, and Will Campbell's 30 yards from the original line of scrimmage down out in front of him running.
Dang.
Matter of fact, Goodwin ran into Campbell, and Goodwin fell down. He bounced off Campbell. But, man, Campbell was that's a special athlete, man. Special athlete.
Doing Monroe, Louisiana proud.
So pretty excited to. That's right. I'm excited to see what he's going to grow into. But yeah, I like the offensive line changes right there. I'm ready to see what they're going to do this week with that. I thought that was a big adjustment there. Yet again, I mean, just coaching staff making tweaks, man. They're not settled on anything yet. They're just making adjustments.
That's right. It's hard to know what they got. We forget they've only been there for just a little while.
That's right.
It's not like they've been working with these players, 2-3 years and know what they got. They literally just showed up, a few months ago. So
yeah,
nothing but up from here, man. There's going to be some bumps along the way, but the fan base is going to have to chill a little bit and let Kelly cook a little. Let him
please do that.
Yeah, they will. I mean,
and
most of them got enough sense.
Yeah, and they will. Yeah, I tried to, go with the golf course this weekend. We're talking about the guys. It's going to take time. Just give him time. And if you don't believe if you question his coaching ability, look at Notre Dame right now. They're 0 since he's left. 0-3. So, and he left Marcus Freeman a pretty good roster there. So, that he actually won 44 of the last 50 games with. So just give him time. Matter of fact, before we started this tonight, I was reading a 5-star cornerback. Looks like it's trending toward us for the next year's class. So he's already building the 2024 class.
But I think Kelly comes off like a CEO when he walks in the room. Especially talking to these recruits. I think they're going to respond well to him. And now he doesn't have all of the constraints that he had at Notre Dame as far as, getting some of these athletes over there.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. No, I agree. I agree. He is a CEO. I mean, and he should be. You're running a over $100 million operation down there.
That's right.
You know that needs to be a big spot for him. That's you got to have a CEO type guy to run something like that, not like a couple of the clowns we've had in the past years.
Right.
Another couple adjustments they made Saturday night on special teams. They punt returner. They put, which just shocked me. You know, I had a couple guys in mind. I thought they would try out, and first punt Southern did. I, I saw the number and I was like, 82. And I just kept, excuse me, 86. I go, who is that? So I pulled up on my phone and I saw it was Gregory Clayton. I was like, oh crap. I said, I forgot about him. So Gregory Clayton, if y'all don't know, is a transfer from this past year's class. He came from the University of Texas at San Antonio.
Wow.
He's actually was an original Louisiana boy. I think obviously the Louisiana connection helped. One, two, the Frank Wilson connection helped there too. Because if y'all don't remember, Frank Wilson was a head coach at UTSA before he was at McNeese his last couple of years. So I think there was some connection there. And he did some of that at UTSA, and man, he looked comfortable back there. He called all the balls that were punted to him, which is a big plus from Florida State week, and even had some return yards on some. So I think he's going to be a good role for him because I don't know if he'll ever crack the receiving core rotation. So I think that'd be a good spot for him. And then also where Mason Taylor was at, the one that missed the block for the extra point the other night, they took him out of that role, which I'm perfectly fine with. He needs to focus on offense anyway, and put Jack Mashburn in there. So Jack Mashburn, got a little story on him too. He is a former walk-on quarterback, Louisiana boy. Walked on. And
out of what high school?
2 years ago. Oh shoot, pal. He's down in South Louisiana. I'm looking it up right now because I just went blank on that. And actually was a good quarterback in high school. Just didn't have all the accolades, that could get him to play college quarterback, but he wanted to Mandeville. He wanted to play college ball. So he walked on, going to be a walk-on quarterback. And 2 years ago, we were in another crisis where we didn't really have tight ends. So he decided, hey, coach, I'll try to, I'll try to play tight end. And he's 6'3", like 240. And he has worked his way to have, and last year he got a scholarship to be a tight end at LSU. And had some big plays for us last year. Had some good catches. He's really, really good blocker. That's what he's really known for. When they put him out there, it's usually on run plays, pass protection. He's a good blocker. But they put him in the field goal unit on that left side, and he didn't have any slip ups. So I think we got that problem resolved. Hopefully we don't have any more of those issues. We didn't miss any kicks Saturday night. So yeah, it's cool, man. It really is. It really is. So you like those kind of things, man. He just loves LSU, loves the state, just wants to play ball.
Well, here's a little inside information.
Cool that he got the scholarship.
Before this podcast started, Peyton was like, "Oh man, I didn't bring any notes. I didn't take any notes on the LSU game. It was just kind of, it was just a long, kind of boring game." Peyton's over here talking about quarterback walk-ons are now under scholarship at Only get it here, guys. Only here. I told you, we got the Rain Man of LSU sports right here under Dirty Boot Sports Podcast. Peyton the Man Mitchell himself. He knows it all. Man, let's segue into the Saints. so we can get this thing rolling.
Hey, let me talk one more thing right quick. Today, and it might be because of Mississippi State, BK made another move. He's moving Jay Ward to nickel, who's been at the safety position, starting safety position, and putting Greg Brooks at the safety position. So just a little something that come out today. So be looking out for that. Greg Brooks is number 3 and Jay Ward's number 5. So they'll be in different spots. Jay Ward's obviously has started at nickel for us for the last couple of years anyway, but Greg Brooks at safety will be interesting. So, and I like it. Greg Brooks, man, he's all over the field. He's a hard hitter. He's not real big, but man, he brings the wood.
He's going to safety or he's going to nickel?
Out there, but no. Greg Brooks is going to safety.
Okay.
And Jay Ward's going to nickel, which Greg Brooks has been the starting nickel for us these first 2 games.
He just wants him on the field, maybe a little, just a
little thing. Maybe more, and got Mississippi State coming, which you know what Mike Leach is going to bring. So, maybe you just want to make sure get that secondary
squared away.
For sure, tied it up there before. Yeah, that's right. But sorry, but keep going there.
So, NFL opening week. Saints, of course, I really don't like playing division opponents from the jump. But we were at Atlanta playing the Dirty Birds. Always give us a good contest. I would like to say it was a tale of 2 halves, but it wasn't even that. It was a tale of 3 quarters and then the 4th quarter. Saints looked horrible for a while. Now, I will say the defense was a bright spot. It bent, it didn't break. But it was like, Jameis had a fire lit under him in the 4th quarter. We turned it around. Let me get you some game notes. So total yards were pretty close. New Orleans had 385, Atlanta 416. Passing, New Orleans had 234, and this is net. Atlanta had 215. Rushing, Saints had 151, and a lot of that was due to Taysom. So we'll go over that too. Atlanta 201. Penalties, Saints 8 for 99. No surprise there. Atlanta 8 for 55. Saints had 1 turnover, and Atlanta had 2. So not too bad on the turnovers. Time of possession went to the way of Falcons, 33 minutes and 44 seconds to our 26 minutes and 16 seconds. So, like I said, it was a tale of first 3 quarters and the last quarter. Mostly, in my opinion, it was on Jameis. Maybe I'm a little rough on him, but you got to forgive me. I've had a Hall of Fame caliber quarterback back there for since 2006. So it's tough seeing a guy back there, struggling, who honestly I don't have a lot of faith in. I had a lot of questions, a lot of hope going into the game. But the bad thing is I don't feel like I came away from this game having any of those questions really answered, because he showed you 2 different things,
He did. I want to say, though, I'm not sure if the play call in the first half really suited him real well. I'm not a big fan of him coming under center, doing things off play actions. I'm a fan of him in shotgun, putting him 4 or 5 wide out and just letting him go. And that's what he did in the 4th quarter. He looks more comfortable back there. First half, he still looks like he's just thinking too much, and instead of just playing ball.
To me, he looked frozen.
Yeah, and I think a lot of it because he's overthinking things. And too, you're learning. You got a new coaching staff. Granted, Dennis Allen was there last year. Pete Carmichael, the offensive coordinator, was there last year. We all know Peyton was the offensive coordinator while he was there. And, you sit there and you say, well, Pete had the 1 year where he was the OC by himself when Sean Payton got suspended for that whole season. Mm-hmm. But Pete also had that Hall of Fame quarterback you were talking about out there who could change anything he wanted when he wanted.
That's something I didn't
whatever
see
Pete
from
was calling,
Jameis at
Drew
all.
either went with it.
Yeah, I didn't see that
No.
at all from Jameis. And another alarming thing, I didn't see a lot of protection slides at the line. And that's the thing that people don't realize. I know that everybody's like, oh, Drew's arm was gone, man. He had a rubber noodle back there, whatever. Like, yeah, his arm was gone the last year and a half he was with us, but you still don't understand what he does at the line of scrimmage. You can't teach that. That has to be learned over time and earned with trust, from the coaching staff that you can do that. I don't know why Jameis wasn't – it's not like he hasn't been in the league long enough to walk up to the line and do that. I don't know why. Kamara, on one sack, they had a guy blitz, came straight through. I guess that was the A gap. Kamara blocked to the outside. But that's just something that, beforehand – I mean, did you even see him calling out the mic at the line? I mean –
No.
It's hard to tell from where I'm at.
No,
but it just looked like he wasn't doing enough at the line. He certainly didn't. I mean, he didn't audible hardly at all. It's not. Apparently, I was worried about the interceptions with Jameis. He didn't throw any of those. But what I wasn't thinking about was, what am I going to miss in that field general that we had in Drew Brees for so long? But honestly, I feel like Jameis should be able to do that at the line. I don't know why he's not. And yeah, the play calls weren't the best in the first half. Where was Alvin Kamara? I mean, he was just a note on the stat sheet. They didn't involve him enough in the game. But one thing,
and that's really
go ahead.
That's really getting me aggravated is how they're getting away from Kamara and they're just running between the tackles. They're not putting out the receiver spot anymore. They're not throwing it out to the flat anymore. He's getting no screen passes to him anymore. That's just bread and butter. And it's really making me mad that they don't. But I did see this morning where he was hurt yesterday.
Yeah, ribs,
and
but he's
actually questionable to play this week.
And that may have been why.
Right. So, yeah, because he didn't have that bounce in the step like he normally does. It didn't feel like to me. And that could have something to do with it.
Another thing about Jameis, like strictly from the gun, we can't run the offense that we run from the gun only. Like, you've got to be under center in order to get the most out of weapons like Mark Ingram, Taysom, even to get, Kamara outside on pitches. Like, we've got weapons in the backfield that require us to be under center. Jameis has got to get used to that on our end. We're asking a lot of him, but enough bashing on him. Let's talk about. Let's maybe I can put into perspective what I'm trying to get across. The first three quarters, Jameis was 10 for 17. Right? Sounds great. 10 for 17. No interceptions, no touchdown passes, but only 61 yards. 61 yards in three quarters. That's not. I don't care if it's on the podcast we've talked so much about I got so tired of Drew Brees dinking and dunking. That's not even dinking and dunking. That's dinking and nothing. After at halftime, we had netted -2 yards passing because we had been sacked for more yards on a loss than we had. Yeah. By the way, Peyton, we got to roll with this. We got 10 minutes.
Wow, I haven't got started yet, man.
So let me go over the fourth quarter, which was brilliant. 13 for 17, 208 yards, 2 touchdowns. So this is the way the possessions went: punt, touchdown, and that touchdown was the Taysom show, 77 yards. Taysom had 68 of those. Next drive, we missed a field goal. That was 17 yards total. We had capitalized on a turnover from them, and then, well, actually, we failed to capitalize on it. But those were all 17 rushing yards. Punt, halftime. Then we opened up the first half with a field goal. That was 11 plays, 44 yards, mix of passing and running. I'll give him that. It was a little bit of both. Next possession was a fumble, which we had 24 plays, 20 yards. 19 of those were rushing yards. Punt. Now we have the end of the third quarter, and this is where Jameis turned it on. Next drive, touchdowns, 4 plays, 75 yards, all through the air. He was 4 for 4. Next drive, touchdown, 8 plays, 86 yards, all through the air, 7 for 9 on that drive. And the next play was the field goal that put us ahead, 5 plays, 47 yards, all through the air, 2 for 4. That says it all. So in the first 3 quarters, he was 10 for 17. The fourth quarter, he's 13 for 17. And almost all of the yards came in that fourth quarter. Juice had a big game for us, 7 receptions, 114 yards. Mike had a big game, 5 receptions, 57 yards. Not a lot of yards, but he had 2 touchdowns. Johnson, the tight end, really stepped up in the wake of Adam Troutman, who is not showing us a whole lot yet. 2 receptions, 43 yards. Olave added 3 receptions for 41. One really nice catch there too. AK kind of disappeared, 9 runs, 39 yards. Taysom, 4 runs, 81 yards, 1 touchdown. Mark Ingram had 4 runs for 22 yards. Not bad on the ground for Mark. Maybe if AK's hurt, we might have to get him involved a little more. On defense, the player of the night was probably Werner, 13 tackles, 1 tackle for a loss, and a forced fumble. May, God, thank God.
12 solo tackles too, by the way.
Yeah. He was all over the place. May had 9 tackles, 1 for loss. Cam had 7, 1 for loss. Tyron added 7, and DeMarco Davis added 6. Big time. Honestly, I think the defense is probably the unsung hero of that game because they did a lot of bending without breaking. I think that was huge for the Saints.
Yes, absolutely. One stat that kind of jumped out at me there, and look, I'm not saying I want it all the time, but Taysom Hill has 4 carries for 80, 2 yards?
Yeah, something like that.
Is that right?
81, 82 yards, yeah.
Why did he not get more? If it's not broke, if it ain't broke, why change it?
Because they don't
running it till they stop it.
They don't want the offense to operate through Taysom. I don't necessarily disagree with that. And they were also trying to feed Jameis. I think they were trying to get Jameis going. And ultimately, our offense has got to be orchestrated by a competent quarterback.
Oh, it does, and I agree. But when you have a first half where he's only giving you nothing, basically, if it wasn't for Taysom in that first half, we're not even in the ball game.
That's right. I don't know why people love to hate on Taysom. He kept us in the game. He made it reachable.
Yeah. And I'm not saying running 12 times, but give me 3 or 4 more carries and see if he breaks another one.
All the man does is play and play well. No matter where he's at.
Yeah.
At the end of the game, he should have had a block punt, but he got hooked, and was unable to get the block. But the penalty was big for us.
And look, Juice Landry, man, I feel like he's just going to be Jameis' safety blanket. Just time after time after time. He just feels like he's always there for you, makes the play for you. By the way, throw that with LSU. I know Landry's an LSU guy. Gregory Clayton, the one we were just talking about, the punt return now for LSU, they're cousins. So just putting 2 and 2 together there.
Another alarming thing
but Landry looked good.
Was that Taysom had no receptions in the game. Taysom's a guy that is fantastic over the middle. He can take a pounding. He's really good on the drag routes, post routes even. I like him in the flat as well. It's just going to take time. Hopefully Jameis, I don't doubt his ability as a passer. I really think he's got more than he showed us at the line too. But he's got to freaking turn it on. We can't be, and part of that first half, and we haven't hit on this yet. 4 sacks, but don't blame the O-line. I watched Jameis hold the ball in the pocket way too long. Like, the ball should have been out. If you watch Tom Brady, his average release time is 3.3 seconds. Get the ball out. Like, you got to get it out. And, that's what he did in the fourth quarter. Like, he was boom, 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 boom. And I think he felt the red rocket coming up behind him and Andy Dalton, because Jameis went in that tent. Andy started warming up. I thought he was coming in.
I did too. I really did too. I'm Bobby Abear. What did he get in that tent? Because he went in there walking like he was hurting bad. To all of a sudden, he's back on the field playing. I don't know what happened in that tent, but apparently it got him back going for sure.
So go ahead.
Well, I hope we can get. I hope that second half or that fourth quarter got Michael Thomas's confidence back and he's ready to go now. I think it took a little time. Obviously Winston and Thomas hadn't played with each other. Timing was off. Thomas didn't sit in a route where he should have, whatnot. But I think that looked like the old Mike T that we got used to. And if that's the case, it could be scary. For sure. Because
let's take a break for just a moment, and we're gonna have to mesh this with another pod. But let's take a break for a moment, and we'll hit up that receiving core in just a second.
Okay.
All right, so we're back. The receiving core. We got a lot to talk about. We didn't see much in the way of the first 3 quarters. But there in the fourth quarter, for sure, we saw Juice come alive. We saw Mike Thomas return to old Mike. Still same OG. But I've been low key, to quote Dr. Dre. Oh gosh, forgive me, I'm tired. Olave showed flashes of brilliance. One thing I would love to see of the Olave though is to stretch it down the field.
Yes, I agree. Which he did start. First game. Started looking comfortable though, man. He's going to be special. I actually saw a couple of videos they put this morning that angle is like on TV you couldn't see, and they were showing some of his route running ability. And AJ Terrell, Atlanta's best cornerback, probably one of the best defenders on their team. He may look silly a couple of times. In route running, made him turn his back and look lost out there. So I'm excited about Olave. I think, man, between him and Landry and Mike Thomas, man, that is 3 monsters out there that you're gonna have to feed. And I think they're all going to be hard to keep contained every week. One of them's going to have a big game, I think. And I tell you what, Juwan Johnson at tight end.
Did you see him
I
leap
think
over
he's
that
be
guy?
a little piece for us. That dude was standing pretty much straight up. He wasn't bent over. Yeah, and he just freaking hurdled him.
That's right.
He was a former receiver and added some weight and changed the position. And I think that's going to be a good little him and Taysom Hill will be a good, I think, tandem at tight end for us.
These
and
tight ends,
Troutman maybe can develop some this year.
These tight ends in 2022 are straight freaks, man. Freak athletes that you generally only see in basketball. We're starting to see in the NFL. It's trended that way for years, but you're still in awe every time you see them.
Yeah, no, I agree, man.
They shouldn't be able to do those things.
No, they shouldn't. Not at all. But no, I think the offense, I kind of wanted to see some Tony Jones Jr. at running back some. I really like what he brings. I know Mark Ingram's going to be able to give us some some good runs. I mean, he obviously you can't give it to him 20 carries. I mean, he's past that part of his career. He brings an energy out there for you where he can give you, if you give him about 6-8 carries, I think that's a good amount for him.
I'm not even
the
ready
offensive
to talk
line
about
though.
Anybody else though?
We're gonna.
I mean, my God, I would love to see carry the ball more. And Kamara, I mean, it's like how many carry? We got to spread it around to our stars.
Oh, we do. But I mean, if Kamara's not 100% right now, I mean, we're in week 2.
Yeah,
I want to have Kamara November, December.
That's right.
If he's not fully healthy right now, I'm okay of letting him rest up and getting a week off. Like I don't need him in September. I need him in December.
That's right.
So we have capable backs back there that can get the job done. I mean, you look at this yesterday. I mean, it's not like we just ran the ball crazy. I mean, I feel like we have some guys that can give us 40 yards rushing the ball, like Kamara did.
That's right.
So but I tell you what, if that offensive line doesn't step up, it could be a long year. Alex Hurts at left tackle kind of looked bad, and shocked me because he has been a very good, capable backup offensive lineman for us the last couple of years. He's played guard, he's played tackle, wherever we need him, he's stepped in and played well for us. Which I know he was nicked up most of training camp, so maybe he was just trying to get his feet under him a little bit, with Trevor Penning being out for the next couple months. But they got whipped a lot. Winston was under a lot of duress for a while there. Now some of that was on Winston because he held the ball too long, like we talked about.
That's right.
But I hope we step up in that area there. I tried to watch Ruiz at right guard because he got whipped so much last year. He missed some Sunday, but I do feel like he did have a decent game. So I hope he can keep that up for us.
He had one of the worst grades on Pro Football Focus.
Did he really?
Yeah, like a 29.
Wow. Really?
Yeah, it's bad. Part of those.
I didn't.
But listen, they also gave Jameis a 70-something for the game. So I don't know.
Yeah, and maybe I missed more of it. It's hard to watch the line because I was watching Hurts a lot at left tackle, and then I was trying to watch Ruiz. So I might have missed some more than I guess I thought. I felt like he wasn't really a lot of the problem. I felt like the left side. What do you remember? What Hurts graded out at?
I'll try to find it if I can. It was
yeah.
Keep talking though, because I'll get you the scores. It was an article.
Yeah. Now, if you want to look at some bad grades, look at our defensive line because I'm sure those weren't good grades. Our defensive tackles got whipped, man.
The worst score of the game was.
We went. That's Clay's boy there.
So actually, let me hit you with their grades. Okay, it's going to surprise you a little bit.
Okay.
Highest grade on offense was Juice. Okay, Jameis was next at 79. I don't agree with that. Ranchek at 77. Hurst 75. I don't know, man. Then Michael Thomas at 73. I don't know, man. Tops on defense, Tyron at 79. DeMario, who I don't think he had a good game, 71.
I thought it was his worst game in a Saints uniform.
Davenport, who I didn't think played particularly well, 65. Marshawn, 65. And Cameron.
Now, Davenport statistically probably didn't have a great stat line, but he always seems to do this. He gets to the backfield. He might not make a lot of sacks, but he gets the quarterback off his spot a lot. If you watch him, he he whips the tackle and gets back there. He just doesn't never make the play.
He's not a finisher.
The sack. No, he's not. And I'm gonna be honest with you. I didn't think Honey Badger had that great of a game. He didn't have a bad game. But I mean, I thought Marcus May was a lot better than he was.
Worst players on offense. Ruiz had 46.3. Troutman had a terrible 39.9. They gave Mark Ingram a 49.9. Mark Ingram averaged over 5 yards a carry. I don't understand that. Pete at 50.5, Kamara 54.2. Defensive bottom 5 players. Peyton Turner 29.7. Ringo 32. Shot total 41. Carl Granderson 45. And PJ Williams 46.6. So definitely room for improvement.
What about Roby at corner?
Not on there. Roby was active in the game. Hold on. He was thrown at 8 times and yielded 6 receptions for 70. They picked on him. Drake.
Yeah, I was afraid of that. With Paulson Odebo out, he stepped up in his spot, and I was afraid he's going to get picked on a little bit.
They also threw at Justin Evans. But Evans played well, only allowing one out of 5 catches. It said Jameis was under pressure, 12 of his 40 dropbacks, but a lot of that was on him. 4 sacks. And he threw the ball away twice or once. So, I don't know. I don't really know what they're watching sometimes. And 2, I mean, there's a lot that we can't see from our point of view. Peyton, we talked about this, how we kind of wish that we could study film the same way that, teams do.
Yeah,
I feel like for nerds like us, that would be a pretty cool option.
Would love it. Yes.
But
I would pay for that subscription.
Yeah, Clay and Chance were talking about how great Red Zone is, doing picture-in-picture. I don't want picture-in-picture. I want a detailed view of the Saints game.
I want as big a screen as I can put it on. And I want it detailed, as much as I can.
I want that high
Red Zone can kind of that's right. Red Zone can be kind of tricky too, man, because you don't see all the game. You just see the highlights or the good, moments when they're doing well. Like I don't know. Like, I mean, if you watch the Red Zone of the Saints game yesterday, you probably, I mean, if you saw most of that fourth quarter, you probably think, boy, the Saints offense looked good. They were firing on all cylinders. You watch those first 3 quarters, and you would not think that.
So speaking of that, let's talk about what I think had a lot to do with that. And I'm not trying to take away from the Saints because they are my team. I love them. I watch them every week and always have since I was a kid. But it felt a little more like the Falcons took the foot off the gas pedal on defense. They stopped blitzing. Gosh, that drove me crazy whenever Sean Payton would do that throughout the years and just let a team right back in the ball game. And kudos to the Saints for being able to take advantage of that, for smelling blood in the water and going for the kill. But they stopped blitzing. We got them in the hurry up. They should have called a couple timeouts there and used them for that. They should have dialed up some blitzes because, we weren't picking them up. That's for sure. So, I want to give credit to the Saints, but, the Falcons just slowed up, man.
No, I agree. And we, like you said, we have seen that from Saints over the years do the same thing. Go that prevent defense, soft coverage on the corners. Just let them have those 10, 12-yard passes, which, man, it don't take long to get down the field when you're giving up those, And Atlanta was giving that with Juice. I mean, Juice had nobody around him. He'd go 10, 12 yards down the field, and he was wide open. So, and I'm glad they did. But, hey, I'm also please explain to me when we scored the touchdown to get us to 24-26 there, and we'll go for the 2-point conversion. Okay, Michael Thomas just scored his second touchdown in the quarter. Landry has been unstoppable. Daggum Taysom Hill has been unstoppable with the direction not running the ball. So you're telling me on a 2-point conversion, you've had all offseason this year to dial up a 2-point conversion play.
And that's your best
your
play.
First 2-point conversion play in game one is going to be your best play, you would think. You're telling me you're going to put Olave and Winston out at receiver and put Mark Ingram at direct snap?
Dude,
really?
There is
that
never
is the best play we designed off.
There is never a time where I've never understood going empty backfield with a running back and splitting your quarterback out. All it does is create a mismatch because nobody gives a crap about Jameis. So they can take a player off of him and move him to the box. It makes no sense. I'd never liked that for 2-point conversions. I mean, we joked about it, and I think Clay and them were being kind of sarcastic, but they're like, we should have put Taysom back there. Yeah, probably so.
Probably so. You know what? Because he gives you the threat of throwing it.
Yeah.
You know?
And you're not wasting.
And you know what?
You're not wasting another body. And Jameis sitting on the side, and dude, they used to drive me crazy when they split Drew Brees out with Taysom in the backfield. Like, if you're going to run Taysom in there, take Brees out. Take Jameis out if you're going to snap it to Taysom. Don't waste, that extra body. Get another blocker in there, especially in a goal line situation or going for 2. That was piss poor. I wouldn't expected my junior high coach. Shout out Chance. Chance, you better not ever make a call like that.
I mean, if you do, we're going to fire you.
Yeah, I'm going to rag you in the pod in person.
What I can't. I mean, Pete Carmichael, did he design that? And did it go through the headset of DA there? And he said, "Yeah, let's go with that." Like, I want to know how that happened because I just find that hard to believe.
Maybe they liked the play. Maybe they liked the play in camp and in the off season and this week. But when you're getting your butt whooped on the line, that's not that's not the play anymore.
No,
you know what I'm saying?
No, it's not at all. I just that made zero sense to me.
I would have preferred. I would have preferred to have brought Kamara in, brought Taysom in at tight end, and then kept your weapons out on the outside. Maybe get Thomas or Landry in the slot, whichever one, but put them on the same side. Stick Jameis in the gun and give him God, man. Feed Thomas a quick slant. Ain't nobody stopping him.
Ain't nobody stopped us since he's been in the league.
No.
I mean,
give the man a quick slant, and if you don't want to do that, then put Jameson in, on the move, drag a tight end and a receiver across the middle, get a little separation in there and get it there. Or get Kamara out of the backfield. Or, I mean, any number of things would have worked there. And, guys, I'm not a coach. I'm not going to pretend to be a coach. But that just seemed like on option A, B, C, D, E, F, G, that was like option X, Y, Z. You know what I mean?
Freaking Z.
Yeah.
That's freaking Z. I mean, the percentages of everything we just said has to be higher than an Ingram direct snap. It has to be. And you know who they ran it behind? Ruiz.
Yeah.
It's just that great and worst on the team. Yeah. It made zero sense to me, man.
Yeah.
And thank God we were lucky, and that's not the play we're sitting here mad about because we didn't win the golf game cut because of.
Yeah.
I mean,
and while we're talking about miscues,
I just don't think that.
Lutz missed an easy chip shot that was uncharacteristic of him. Thank God he came back and hit the one at the end. But that was, I don't know where that came from. I guess everybody misses. So
I ain't been out for almost a year, with an injury, and I mean, knocking the rust off, I guess. But it doesn't matter when we need it in the end. He's going to make it.
Yeah.
I mean, they don't call him Big Nut Sluts for nothing.
And I hate to
he is clutch.
I hate to be negative, but I'm gonna continue my trend here. It seems like I've been negative for this whole podcast, but how good was that team that we just squeaked by in the Falcons? I don't think they're very good. I could be wrong.
No, they're not.
I don't know that they're terrible, but I don't think they're a good team. And
they're trying to think.
Yeah, I don't. That makes me wonder about us, especially on the lines, the O line, the D line, which is weird, man, because we've always been so squared away there.
Well, especially the D line. I mean, there's a reason that stat of us 20 straight games and not allowing our running back go over 100 yards on us, and a lot of that's because of our D line play.
And Kadero Patterson was a man.
Yes, he was.
I mean,
he absolutely was.
He stood Pete Werner up that one time, and I mean, Pete came with every ounce of muscle and oomph he had, and it didn't matter. He got stood up. That Patterson's just too big of a dude.
Yeah, absolutely. He's a freak athlete.
Davis just didn't seem to have a great game to me.
I'm telling you, in my opinion, it was the worst game since he's been in a Saints jersey. I've never seen DeMario play bad, and I'm hoping it's just because just had a bad game. I'm hoping, and I hate to say this, I'm hoping his age is not creeping up on him.
I mean, it
that
does
dude
on
has
everybody.
been a warrior. It does. And that dude's been a warrior, and he's been healthy. He never gets hurt. He doesn't miss a game. He doesn't miss a snap. I'm hoping, and I don't think it is. I think he just had a rough game. I honestly do. I don't know if DA is putting more on his plate now, and being a captain and making the calls and stuff or whatnot, but he just didn't seem himself.
When you're in a 2 linebacker set, though, you got to be able to fly. I mean, you've got to move, and at this point in his career, I don't feel
Pete Warner can do that.
Yeah, Pete Warner had to, and Pete Warner looked like a safety out there. He's kind of slight for a linebacker in his position.
He is, but he's not afraid to hit though.
No, on that play that I mentioned where he got stood up, he got a cut on his forehead in that after that play from that he brought it. It just wasn't quite enough. Yeah, but
right.
He was definitely a bright
David Onyemata. Yeah, he was. Absolutely, he was.
Yeah.
All we've been reading and hearing how confident they were in him, how excited they were in him, and we just never really seen it because he's never really been healthy. And I was screaming all summer long, sign Quan Alexander, sign Quan Alexander.
Yeah.
And
you and me both.
Apparently, he wanted Quan wanted the starting role, and apparently they weren't going to give it to him because they were going to give it to Warner. But I still would have felt better if we had Quan on the roster.
I would have. I know it's not our base defense anymore, but I kind of would have probably felt better in a base 4-3 with all that running that they did.
Yeah. Yeah. I agree with that. I mean, put Ellis out there for your third linebacker and
Ellis
try that.
Ellis played well when he got the opportunity. Zach Bond really hadn't panned out just yet. We might see him throughout the year in spurts. I think he might have been the one to block the field goal at the end. He might have been one to get
No. You have to give the shout out to Clay's boy on that one.
Who?
Peyton Turner blocked it.
Oh God, he did something right.
Yeah, that's right. I know, and I forgot to mention that to Clay the other night or last night. So I figured he'd be pretty pumped about his boy finally making a play for us.
The prototype.
Yeah, that's right.
Him and T-Bird Davenport.
And David Onyemata, man, D tackle. Where was he at?
Disappeared.
Him and Shy Tuttle were getting whipped, big time, and that's not like Onyemata, man. He's usually a run stopper up the middle, and it didn't happen. I mean, kudos to Atlanta Falcons offensive line. I mean, they won that battle.
Let me tell you something. Marcus Mariota looked sharp.
He does. Like he's not a bad quarterback. He's just not he's not top echelon type, but I mean, if you gave him a decent roster around him, I mean, they could win ball games.
Yeah.
Granted, I think he's going to have to do everything he can just to win one ball game there at Atlanta.
I mean, I haven't seen a lot of his film, but it's almost like, does he have the clutch gene or not? And I'm not sure if he does. Because it seemed like at the end he kind of faded a little bit. Yeah,
I agree with that.
But when it was, when everything was good in the hood, he was lighting up. So
that's right.
But our defense did do a good job of bending and not breaking. We forced Atlanta to kick a lot of field goals. So, Young Ho's fantasy owners were happy.
Hey, and we were the number one red zone defense in the league last year.
Yeah.
So
bend don't break.
Bend don't break. Holding field goals, man. I'll let them kick field goals on us all day. That's fine. I'm not mad at that.
And let me say
especially in the days in the NFL.
I'm excited about our safety play this year.
Yes, I am too.
I think we're actually better.
You think?
Yeah, I do.
Okay.
The question mark for me was May, and he showed up, and we're one game in, so take this with a grain of salt.
Yeah.
But I know Tyron's a gamer. I know he's gonna come in and do honey badger things. Was not worried about Tyron, so the question for me was May, and could he replace Marcus Williams? And dude, I think he's so I don't want to say similar.
He's an athlete, man.
But he's just good. He's a good football player, and in the right situation,
I think he's got some of the honey badger quality.
He kind of like Davis did when he came to the Saints, just blew up. I think he might thrive in New Orleans. I could be wrong. It's been one game. I could be wrong, and I'm hopeful for him. But he just feels like a good.
That'd be crazy too, because we got him from the Jets, just like we got DeMario from the Jets.
Yeah. Sure that.
On a steal contract.
Yeah,
and we stole DeMario.
No doubt. Got it, and he's been the cornerstones of our defense.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
Other than
close.
Yeah.
And I'm ready to see him, Marcus May, back there when he has passing over Debo at the other side of the cornerback position.
That's right.
Because man, I'm telling you, I'm really thinking that Debo's going to have so good things this year.
Oh, I do too.
And then that'll help us get Roby or PJ Williams, whoever they want at the nickel spot for us there.
Evans might have won that spot though, huh?
Yeah, Evans looked good.
He outplayed
Taylor, the rookie from Tennessee. Yeah, Taylor, the rookie from Tennessee, man. You notice he didn't play a lot, but they do want him on that field some.
Yeah, he should be.
Yeah, I think between Evans and PJ and Taylor, I think they got a good rotation there where they'll I think sub them in and out, probably different scenarios. I feel good about it. Granted, I'm gonna sit there all year long and say, yeah, absolutely.
So I think
it's just because of me, I'm gonna sit there all year long and what CD Deuce, if we had him, what would it have been? But obviously, I don't need to. We got to move on from that. But I think the secondary is going to be fine. I got depth there. And I'm excited. I'm excited to see him. And hey, what more of a test than have Brady coming into town this week?
Well, that's right. And I was looking at that on the schedule as you were saying it. But I think so. Next week, is it going to be, what are we going to do on the O line and the D line to make adjustments? What are we going to do in the play calling realm to make adjustments? And we gotta start ticking. I realize this is the first game, so we're not supposed to be in midseason form yet, but we got to get going quick.
Oh, absolutely. I agree. And hey, look, Devin White is going to be on the other side of that field this Sunday. And that's a game record there for you. I mean, he's going to Alvin Kamara with between White and David at linebacker position for Tampa Bay. You don't expect a lot coming out of Kamara this week, because they can defend sideline to sideline easy. And if Kamara has a kryptonite, it's linebackers like them. We've seen that over the years with Dallas's linebacker core. Those are the only tight linebackers in the league that can slow Kamara down.
I tell you what's different this year, though, is Thomas, Olave, and Juice.
Yeah, that's right. That's exactly right.
That's where we're going to have to go.
No, I agree with
in
that.
This game. But, yeah. Your thoughts on this week, Peyton? Go ahead.
For coming up, or
yeah,
coming up, yeah, Mississippi State. Get them at home this week. Gonna be a tough challenge. This is year, I guess, 3 from Mike Leach. So usually in year 3, man, is when you start got your guys there, got your system in place, you coaching staff in place, settled in. They had a pretty impressive win against Arizona. I know Arizona's nothing great, but went to Arizona and won pretty handily. And Leach has gave us fits over the last couple of years. Granted, we've hadn't really helped ourselves with the coaches that we had in place, and stuff like that. So at home, I feel like we can come out and get this win. I feel like it's going to be close and it's going to be tight. But I really feel like a night game in Death Valley. It's a 5:00 kick, so it'll be basically a night game for us there. I feel good about it. I'm ready to see John Emery come back this week. This will be his first game in almost a year and a half. So I'm excited about that, man. I don't know if he's going to get a lot of carries right away in this first week, but he will be in the game plan some for sure. So I'm excited about that. And then we get Tampa in New Orleans in the Dome. Brady's kryptonite, our defense. So I'm hoping we can get to him.
You gotta feel like
got a couple wet.
After last night, New Orleans is kind of licking their chops a little bit after that performance.
Yeah, because Tampa did not look great. That's right. And Godwin looked like he's going to be out. So and we know Lattimore is going to shut Mike Evans down.
That's right.
So I guess the future LSU guy, Russell Gage, will probably be a target for Brady some this week. So it'll be interesting to see what adjustments we make. I think Tampa's defense is pretty salty. Actually, I feel like with Todd Bowles as the head coach, I really think that they got a pretty good defense, which is scary to have, good defense for Brady there. But hey, man, Brady's offensive line's not healthy. They got some backups in that role. Our defensive line, Cam Jordan's, the Marcus Davenport's, come on, Peyton Turner. It's about time, bud, to show us something there. Let's get some rush on Brady and give our secondary a chance to make plays back there. So I'm excited for both games, man.
I think it's time in the same way that Tampa Bay put away Drew Brees. I think it's time for us to put Tom Brady to bed.
Hey, absolutely. I'm ready.
Nobody better to do it than us.
Obviously. That's right. Because Giselle obviously is not putting him to bed, so maybe we can put him to bed now.
Oh God.
Just,
that was more of a main pod pun there, man. We usually hit them pretty hard during the main pod, yeah. But I'm excited, man. Football's here, and for local fans, man, that's one you gotta go catch LSU, then turn around the next day and catch New Orleans.
I know. I'm actually going to the Dallas this weekend to go to the Cowboys and Bengals game, and if it wasn't for that, I'd probably be making the two games this weekend because
double timing it, huh?
Those are two that I think are going to be, yeah. I mean, Saturday night in Death Valley, and then you turn around and have Brady in the dome for a noon kick. That's going to be. I guarantee you, there's a lot of Louisiana fans that are going to be doing that this weekend, making the two.
Good deal, brother. Well, we got to wrap this thing up. We are running low on time again. But we appreciate y'all listening. We appreciate the support. Guys, send this to your friends, to fellow Saints fans. Tell us what you think. Maybe my analysis of the James' performance was too rough. It might be. I'm well aware of that. Apparently, it was a lot rougher than what Pro Football Focus thought. So maybe I'm being a little unfair to our QB1 down there. Clay probably thinks so. But hit us up. We're excited. We got this thing rolling, buddy. We get to do this, 17 times at least? So it's going to be fun. Yes. Can't wait, man. And that's all I got, man. Who dat?
Go Tigers.
All right.